Hi everyone, welcome to Mompreneur Space live show podcast where I interview inspiring moms from all around the world so that you can learn from them how they overcome their challenges and struggles as mompreneur. I am your host Kenneth Chu and today is 116th episode of Mompreneur Space live show podcast. This podcast started with a very simple thought of sharing inspiring mompreneur story so that aspiring moms like you will be able to resonate and start make a difference in your life and your family's life. I've met and come across a lot of amazing mompreneurs in the past 6 years, which I'm very blessed to be able to share their stories on my podcast with you guys. Today's guest is an amazing mompreneur who I've met at the APEC Investment Summit, where she was one of the panel speakers talking about the next bull run. When I saw that she's an angel investor, I knew that I need to reach out to her and introduce myself because I was looking for female investors for my 2024 project. In this episode, we will be talking about how to be an angel investor with Jacinta Lee, who is a business owner, worked in a VC before, part of a starting team of a tech startup, and now an angel investor. With a background in business, including growing an award-winning restaurant chain in Singapore, Jacinta's broad topic interest and entrepreneurial instinct had led her to forge her unique path into the technology startup world. She worked at a venture capital firm and an AI startup company to gain first-hand knowledge of determinants for startups to survive and position for strong growth. Funding 6 global companies across various industries over the past 3 years, she's especially excited about companies that make direct positive impact on people. So without further ado, let me welcome Jacinta. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Jacinta.
Hello. Hi, Kenneth. Thanks for having me here tonight.
No problem. Welcome. Thanks for making time. I know you're really busy, and finally I got you onto the show. Thanks a lot. So before we start, maybe you can do a short introduction about yourself. Share with everyone where are you from, and currently what
Oh,
are
I
you
think you
doing.
did a pretty good introduction just now. So I am local Singaporean, and currently I'm running my own business at the same time doing some angel investing on the side. Yeah,
Good. So we know that you are a mom, right? So how many kids you do
two
have?
kids, 3 and 1.5.
2 kids.
Yeah,
Wow, so that's the I would say the golden years of
yeah.
their time, right? Especially as a mom with pretty young kids, pretty cute. So maybe you can share with us more, right? How do you get into this angel investor space? Because like I mentioned, right, when I first knew you, I was like, wow, I finally I knew someone who was a angel investor, and after knowing you, I know you're a beautiful mom with 2 beautiful kids. And how do you get into this space? Maybe you can share with us because I guess for our audience, a lot of them may not even heard of this term, especially the mothers. So maybe can you share more with us about how do you get into this
Okay,
space?
you're very kind. So basically, or the term angel investing just means investing in companies that are in the early stage of growth and in exchange for equity. Yeah, and using your own money. So unlike a venture capital, which is a company that invest using external funds or funds that they gather from other people, an angel investor uses their own money to invest. Yeah. Mm. So
Yeah. So I think it's
so
yeah.
yeah, how I
You were
got
saying?
into this space, basically, it came from my own experience with business. So like you mentioned, I started a chain of restaurants together with my husband. So that venture of 6 years in the restaurant business actually opened my eyes to the world of business, something that I didn't have a background in. Yeah, although I studied business, but that's very different from actually doing business. So entrepreneurship journey started from there. From there, when I'm running the business every single day, I get to see how business actually grow and expand, and the thrill of business, the excitement of business, but yet the risks of business. They are all experienced at the same time. So the interest in business is still there and started from there, and that kind of continued. After that, I went into, like you mentioned, went to work in a VC because I wanted to learn more about this angel investment space, and also work in a tech startup to see how tech startups actually grow from 0 to 1, and to gain all the skill sets that I need to enter the space.
Yeah, so talking about you starting the food chain and the in F&B business, right? How did you chance upon that? So how did that happen? What were you doing before you were in the F&B
Okay,
business?
that was just like completely by chance. So I was in management consulting, and back then my husband just said, back then it's boyfriend, I'm not husband yet. So my boyfriend just said, you want to start a business? And my thought process is, okay, sure. If we have the opportunity to start a business early, I think the best time to do so is when we're young and we don't have family commitments, we don't have responsibilities. The opportunity cost of leaving a job is still low. So yeah, to me that's the best time, because I knew from the start that majority of businesses fail, like over 95% of businesses fail. So the best time to fail is when you're young. Yeah. So to us that was like okay, sure, let's start. And what business, right? If you want to start a business, what business? We are not engineers, we can't like create a product, we are not we don't have any other skill sets. So it was a Vietnamese restaurant chain. That was like an opportunity that was spotted in the space, just because I had a trip to Vietnam and came across this the food and the culture and the restaurant. So yeah, so then we just saw the opportunity in Singapore at that point in time, and that started the whole wave of Vietnamese restaurants that you see today. Yeah.
Wow, so you guys are basically one of the pioneers that really bring Vietnamese food into Singapore, and that started your entrepreneurship journey. And I'm just curious, at that point of time, you guys were only boyfriend girlfriend, and boyfriend girlfriend jumping into business together. It seems like a big commitment other than marriage, right? So how did you manage that? Because although you were saying that you studied business
Mm.
and then you were into management
Mm.
consulting, and after a while you jump into a business with him. Is it full time when you
Yeah,
first
it's
started
full
on?
time. Yeah, business takes up a lot of your time and energy and focus. So, yes, you're right. That is a very big risk. Honestly, where I think you can say a bit innocent at the time. So we were not so aware of the risk. Yeah, all we know is that we have worked with each other back in school on projects before, and our working style kind of complements each other. So yeah, so we didn't think much about starting a business together. Mm.
Wow, wow. Because it's also rare for even couples to come together, be it boyfriend and girlfriend, not talking about couples like
Mm.
husband and wife, right? It's even harder. Like for my case, right? I can't really see myself working with my wife in my business, in my marketing business. I think it's also a rare thing that you and your back then boyfriend and now
Mm.
husband, right? You guys are not just partners in your marriage and also in the business
Mm,
at
mm,
the same
mm.
time.
Well, they're good and
Yeah.
bad points. So you got to know how to separate. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not easy, right? It's not easy to separate, especially now you guys got married and have kids. The parenting also comes in,
Yes,
right?
yes, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, so at the same time, we have to keep things very, very like strictly business only, and keep personal things out of the issue. So in that is the same when it comes to angel investing, because angel investing is something that is high risk. I wouldn't say it's for everyone. It's a privileged position to go into something like angel investing. So when money is involved, you have to talk with your partner very, very openly and very frankly. If it's not 100% from both sides to like go into a certain investment, then either you don't go in, or you put your own money, not the joint money.
I see. So even in angel investing, your pool is separate from your husband,
Most of the
right?
time, yeah,
Or
most of the
depends.
time is together. Sometimes it's separate, yes.
Hmm. So that also brings us to the topic of this episode, right? Is also how to be an
Mm,
angel investor. But before we talk about how
mm,
to be, right, what is an angel investor? I think
yeah.
you already shared, or maybe you have some things that you want to add on, and how to be one, and what does it take? Because a lot of time, I guess people who chance upon angel investor, they may be thinking, oh, I need a million, I need a few 100,000, or what is it like? So maybe you can just share with the audience what is an angel investor and how to be one, and what it does
Mm,
to take what it takes to
mm,
be one.
yeah. So basically, if you have any friends who want to start a business and then ask you for money, basically, if you give it to them, you're angel investor. Okay.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
simple.
so it's very simple. But of course, having said that, like I mentioned earlier, is a very high risk type of investment versus other form of investment, like if you're investing in stocks, or just fixed deposit or other things. Yeah, so because of the high failure rate of businesses, okay, you only do this with the money that you, if you completely lose it, that means if it goes to zero, you have to be okay with it. Yeah, so that's for one. Okay, so in your whole portfolio of investment, I wouldn't recommend like going above 10% for the amount that you want to put into angel investing. Yeah, 5 to 10% I think is the maximum, and ticket size can go from about 10K to, depending on your appetite, 10K to hundreds of thousands to even more. Yeah, so that's personally what your appetite is like. So having said that, also this money, you must be, number one, prepared to lose it. Number two, it's tied in for a long time, so at least 5 years. The average is about 5 years or more,
Wow.
that you will not or may not be able to exit the money because either the next funding round doesn't come, or you're waiting for like a good proper exit via acquisition or via listing on the stock exchange. Yeah. So these are things to keep in mind if one is keen in looking at angel investing. And yeah, what it takes is just, if you can do your due diligence, that's very important. So it's very easy for companies to come to you to ask for money. Yeah, and I think everybody will want money. And in today's day and age, that is the way that a lot of companies choose to grow with other people's money instead of their own money. So while that enables a business to grow very quickly, but I've also seen irresponsible use of investors' money, because it's very easy to spend when it's other people's money. Yeah. So the justification is that it's for speed, which in a lot of tech companies, speed is very important to really scale before competitors catch up. But at the same time, is the money really wisely spent? So things like these, as an angel investor, we sometimes get the privilege to be close to the founders to really help out also, or impact the company on a more direct level. But at the same time, when you see these things happening, it can get a bit uncomfortable lah. Yeah. So the due diligence part is very crucial, whereby the first thing is to stay calm and not rush into every every business that you come across or hear, because everything will sound very exciting at the start. And you have to know that as an angel investor, the your capital is limited, right? Once you invest, it's at least 5 years or more. So capital is limited. You want to hold it for the really good ones when it comes. So do the due diligence properly. Really look at, when we look at businesses, is always looking at the founder. Is the founder a person that is trustworthy, has good values? Does he have the right team? Is he a first time founder or a second, third time founder? And what is the company about? Is it solving a real problem, or is it a problem that's maybe actually not too big or not too pressing? Yeah, so a lot of different questions to be addressed, but in the end, it's just the same as how you would look at any other business. It's the same as if you were to start your own business. Is this business worth, your while? Yeah.
Now, when you talk about that, right, I realize that the role of angel investors is also very similar to like the
Mm,
founder, right? Right, because you have to really look through all that, the due diligence, understand the business, and also maybe sometimes get your
mm.
hands dirty, right? To really be on the ground, to really check out how the business is running, and calling yourself angel investor, it seems to me like it's like you open your door to say, hey, hello, I have the money, right? Please come to me. Is that the thing that you get? Because when you call yourself an angel investor, you're basically telling
Yeah.
people, I have money, come and pitch to me, or come to get me interested in funding
Mm.
for your business. Does that open up the door, or because when you call yourself an angel investor, basically you're just telling people that. So how did you get over it, or it was like okay for you to tell people that you're an angel investor?
So, yes, you're right. You're opening the doors, but you don't know who's gonna walk through, right? It can be good or
Yeah.
it can be bad. Um, yeah, so we're very straightforward. Basically, the funds are limited, and we only choose those that we really, really are absolutely like more or less have the same mindset about. Um, if you don't open the doors, on the other hand, people don't know, and maybe the good ones won't come too. Yeah, so
Mm.
you may or may not let people know, but maybe letting selected people know, or people who you know are in the VC space, or people who you know are trusted and angel investors as well, or have good foresight of good companies. You can let these people know instead. Yeah, so knowing who
Mm.
to let in the information on is crucial. Mm.
Okay, so it's a chicken and egg thing, right? If you don't tell people, people will know that there's
Mm.
someone out there that can
Mm.
support you, and at the same time, although you open your door, it also gives you more variety, right? To
Yeah.
even choose from. Maybe you are interested in certain, maybe medical, but you are not able to reach out to medical, or maybe in your personal ground. But when you open your doors, you tell people you're angel investors. Basically, people will come from all different genre, different category, different industry, so that you can see also have a spread of businesses that you can
Mm.
choose, right? Rather than maybe you are in F&B, you only have F&B business which you
Yeah.
do not want, and you maybe want to look at other industry where you start branding yourself as angel investor, basically open up
Yes,
the
yes,
door.
you're absolutely right. So the breadth actually allows the view of how many different types of businesses there are out there, and the potential of different businesses and different markets. So looking at many businesses also makes you feel that, oh, okay, you should be more picky, you should be, more restrained and not rush into things, because there are a lot of opportunities actually. Yeah.
So just now when you share with us, right, like for
Mm.
typically angel investor, you park aside 5 to 10%. Is that the money that you don't touch, right? And the money that you don't touch, and you take 5 to 10% to really
Yes.
invest. Is that what you're saying? So I like when you say the money that you don't invest. So why did you choose to invest into companies? Because there's also other investment instruments
Mm.
out there, like stocks, like maybe options trading, cryptocurrency, and all that. So why do you choose to put a part aside a portion into investing into companies? Is there a reason? Because you started entrepreneurship, you see this is something that you can do. What is the real reason of you parking? Because a lot of my friends that I know, right, they don't really invest into companies. They rather put into stocks, into things, even for long term, right, 5 to 10 years, right. And you were saying that you don't get to
Yeah.
see your money, and because like majority of startup or even businesses fail. So so when you park this 5 to 10%, the risk is very high, and you may not even get
Mhm.
your money back. or see your money back in returns, right? So is there a particular reason why you choose to put this portion out into investing in startup and companies?
Yeah. So you're right. Majority of the investments that a person does should be in like things like the stock market or in the bank or other products that are, I think, more safe lah, lower risk profile. Yeah. Why 5 to 10% in angel investing is because if you get it right, or at least a portion of it right, the returns can be really, really high. So you're looking at multiples of 2 or multiples of 5 or multiples of 10 of your original investment. So that's the dream for a lot of angel investors as well as the venture capital companies. But having said that, also, um, the there has to, for angel investor, there has to be another reason. So for personally for me, it's also because from running my own businesses, there comes a passion for business. You see what business can do, what it can create, the kind of problems that it can really solve in a world where if the company has a really good solution. So that passion for business makes my husband and I want to also fund other businesses who probably need the help at the beginning, but they have a really good solution to offer to the world. Yeah. And they are the experts for it. So, our background is just in business. We don't have anything specific like engineering or medical, etc. But there are other experts out there who have great ideas and who can make their own business successful as well. So that is kind of like a form of diversification to still have a part in other businesses, but not having to run it because I'm not the expert anyway. So let you go do your thing, and we're just supporting it monetarily. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for answering my question on that. And I want to dive deeper. Is it coming from your own experience because you and your husband run this F&B food chain, right? This food chain, and is it because you guys experienced that angel investors that believe in you guys, that's funding you guys, or is the other way around? Which you did not have, you were bootstrapping, you hope that there's an angel investor. So what is the story? Is there any connection to your entrepreneurship journey of you being an angel
Mm.
investors, there's no reason, just that you're passionate about investing into business, into investing into the
Yeah, I think
founders?
the main reason is still just to get into a space whereby we wouldn't be able to by ourselves. So we have no background in tech, but tech companies are seeing the very, very high growth more than traditional companies like restaurants, like other retail or manufacturing, things like that. And why the tech space is growing so fast is because things that are online or things that are, either the connectivity business, things like these, they can grow super fast because they don't require the kind of asset. So that's the kind of space that you want to be in. Investment wise, it's very attractive if you get it right. And yeah, basically we just want a portion of that lah. Yeah.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with your previous entrepreneurship journey in the food chain
In a way,
business, right?
yes, because from there we understand that traditional business growth is really very slow
Mm,
and really still takes equally as much effort, but the returns are just not like the tech space. For example, if you look at
mm,
a SaaS kind of company, like a software as a service, right? Or any other
yep.
IT company that, like Salesforce or like, what SAP does, they are growing so fast because it's basically just one product and then they just sell to many, many, many different people with slight customization. So the scalability is really there, and that's why they can bring in, a huge amount of profits and growth lah. That with traditional business is really very hard. So that's the angle that we're coming from. Yes, you
Mm,
can also invest likewise in the tech stocks. That will also give you an edge. But before they even go public, I think that's the exciting part lah. If they really can see super fast, growth.
Mm. Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm getting it right? Is that why you choose to invest into startup, especially in tech, right? I think you have talked about it because you have been in the traditional business, the food chain, the F&B. You saw that the growth, but at the same time, when you start to know more about tech businesses, and that is also where you can see that maybe with a 10,000, it could go by 100,
Mm,
hundredfold, right? And also the journey that you're going through with them, and like you mentioned, you don't have to be the expert or the domain expert to be in that industry, for example, for tech. But you can have a piece of it, which eventually you can call yourself you are supporting it, or you could be the investor of this
mm,
company, of this tech company that may be the next
mm.
household name, right? That
Yeah,
you never know. So that is also believing in the future of your investment, and also your judgment and your risk appetite in believing, and also the belief in this business that it will go to where it say that it should be, right? It also give you that kind of
yes.
fulfillment, right? So that is the thing that you see yourself into investing. And talking about that, right? How is angel investing different from other investment? Like you talk about putting 5 to 10%, maybe it could be 10K to 100K or even more. And how is it different from other investment? Maybe you can share with the audience. Like you talk about stock, talk about even in option, even in other investment in banks. So how is it different from other investment? What are the things that people should look out or people should look forward to
Mm.
angel investing?
So, yes, the allure is the probable really high returns that you probably won't get if you buy like a fixed deposit or yeah. So basically, different instruments provide different objective. Angel investing, you don't get any like, for most companies you don't get like dividends, you don't get anything until you really exit. And when you exit, what you're hoping for is like a multiple of your original investment sum. Okay, that compared to other instruments are probably a lot more liquid. There is a very open buy sell market, whereas angel investing is not so much an open buy sell market. It's more closed. Even though if you have the chance to exit, sometimes you may or may not be able to, just because you can't find the right buyer or secondary market for it. So I guess if one wants to go into it, you have to get into the community or get to know the people in the network itself, and really build your whole network to be able to support this area of angel investing. There are some communities and associations for angel investing that one can join and look into, and from there, people with contacts, because angel investing, you don't have to look at companies that are only local in Singapore. You can look at them from all over the world. Yeah, so from there you can get links to more deals, more international one, global ones, that of course provide some form of a different kind of exposure and different kind of upside as well, but at the same time different risk. So that yeah, just having that network will open up opportunities as well. There is a platform called Our Crowd that I also use. So on that platform, it's an Israeli company that already curates and invests in these companies that they have pulled in. But at the same time, it opens up to external investors who wants a piece of it as well. Yeah, so platforms like that are also suitable if you want to skip some of the due diligence or like have it half done for you. So first round filter is already done. These are like the second round, the good ones that know a notable company is already investing in. And by the way, if it's for you, you can also join in. Mm. So I would say yes, it requires a lot more hard work. Background check. You have to kind of like pull all your resources together and network together to get into this field.
Yeah, it sounds fun for some people who want to dig deeper, want to learn something, right? Especially in angel investing. But maybe for some people who wants to to have the ROI simple. It could just park the money there. But it seems that you enjoy the process in investing. You're also doing, like you talk about the our crowd, right? There's also a research to find people who has done the due diligence for you at the first round, and then they basically filter businesses that is really ready, right? And is already 50% ready for you to look at it. So when we talk about angel investing, right, or even angel investor, is it rare for women to be angel investor because it is pretty much a male dominated environment? As for you,
Sorry, got a bit cut off there. Yes,
oh yeah,
correct.
so
So
yeah,
it is.
go ahead.
It is a male-dominated environment, as with a lot of the investment platforms or investment topics, um, and just to say that it's rare is not because I don't think that it's because there is a sort of a unfair advantage or what. It's just because maybe the exposure to it is a bit more limited, and it's a field is in a way it's a field of business, right? So majority of people, myself included, we probably don't have the background growing up with the exposure to businesses, and therefore that limits our mindset and our point of view. And for women as well, I think by default of the gender, we do have some different responsibilities just through the whole life cycle. So, for example, like now, I'm pretty much focused on the kids. So, that can also be one of the reasons why the industry is pretty much a male dominated environment. Having said that, there are also very prominent women in the field, or especially businesswomen. A lot of them are also doing a lot of angel investing. Yeah, so to say that it's a gender related issue, I think probably not as much. It's just the nature of whether or not people find that this is a viable option for them.
Yeah, when you talk about that, right, it seems that angel investing has a lot to do with business, right?
Yeah.
Because of understanding business and all that stuff, which is not very how should I put it, which is not very maybe accessible or available or maybe of interest, right, for a lot of women out there. So what would you say? Because for you, you study business, and naturally you you know about this area about angel investing and all that. So how would you encourage, especially someone who want to know more about business, or even someone who has this pool of money from her, maybe from her career, and instead of putting into some other things, she can consider putting into or even being one of an angel
Mm.
investor? What would
Well,
you
I would
advise them?
say just start anything. If the interest is there, if the curiosity is there, if the risk appetite is there, does take a person with a certain risk appetite. Okay, then just go ahead and start. Everybody starts small, so it doesn't matter what you're starting with, as long as you have a certain idea. The only way to understand business is to get your hands in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is something also for even for a lot of mothers who I know they wanted to start business, right? It's always the first step, right? It's always that just do it and jumping in and talking about the risk appetite. Like for your case, maybe the risk appetite is lower because of
Mm.
other commitments, and maybe the money is well invested in your children's education or future, or putting into somewhere that is less risk, right? Would you say that if let's say for a mother who run businesses, angel investing may not be of a suitable route for them to make their returns, or would you still consider, as long as they have parked certain amount into that investment?
Okay, I would say we don't have to go actively looking for it. If
When it comes,
Yeah,
it
if
comes,
it
right?
happens to come, if a good business happen to come by, looking for investments, then maybe you can look and see whether you are able to consider it. But otherwise, yeah, it doesn't have to be an investment that everyone needs to have. So this is really personal. Running your own businesses is also fine. I just personally prefer and believe that, everyone, there are a lot of experts out there, and there are people that actually, it's more like investing in the person lah, in the founder itself. Yeah. So there are people that we would like to invest in, and that's why, and with the love of business, that's why we are exploring this whole space and actually doing it.
And when you talk about it, right, it seems that people who does business before were pretty much understand. Do you come across anyone who's like in corporate job or as an employee, right, is also an angel investor? Have you come across someone like
Yes,
that?
a lot actually. But I would say
Mm,
they probably also want to start their own business, but maybe have no good opportunity or have no good idea. And if they come across something or someone who's looking for investments, and at the same time, they like the idea as well, then they can definitely invest in these companies. So there are a lot of people in corporate who are doing this. At the same time, there are a lot of people in corporate who also come out and do their own business. So essentially, it's the same thing. It's just that with angel investing, you don't have to put in the personal effort of actually running and setting up the business versus like actually starting a
mm.
business yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, basically not the sweat
Yeah.
equity in terms
Correct.
of that,
Correct.
right? Yeah. So, because just now we talk about you have worked in the VC before, right? Were there challenges for you because you say that you wanted to learn more about investment into funding into even startup, right? So, how is it like to work in the VC? Were there challenges
For
for you?
sure, yeah. Because whatever you put out there, whatever you say that, okay, I think this is a good investment, and then you present it to your boss, you have to back it up with like solid numbers, reasons, research, and really present it to the team and your boss as well. So yeah, that's the kind of training that that you kind of that is very beneficial for you to know, okay, what is important, what have you missed out, what insights do other people have that probably you should also be taking note of. Yeah, so that experience in for me in general was very beneficial, and I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about that, right? Because about business and about entrepreneurship, you were part of a tech startup, and then you work in the VC and run businesses. So is that how it got you into angel investing? Because now with all the fundamental of thinking as
Mm.
like a VC, and also you running the business also, is it a part of building up to where you are as an angel
Yes, for
investor?
sure. Yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, one needs to have certain resources and certain network in this space, I believe, to really do the due diligence to a certain level of extent, and also to have good deals coming to you, not the ones that you don't want to put money in. Yeah. So it was after the point of existing the restaurant business that our interest in angel investing started. And that's why I kind of paved this whole path to gather the right knowledge and experience to go into this field. Yeah. So for anyone who is also considering this, this can be an option as well. Definitely working in a tech startup would open your eyes a lot. Yeah, to how it really is. Because looking from the outside as an investor, and actually being in it, seeing how the growth is, seeing how things are changing every single day. The changes can happen very fast. Whatever you hear, the story or the concept was at the start, 1 month later can be completely
Yeah.
different. So you have to be prepared for that, and that's the reality of it. And it's not to say like after you invest, then you go running to the founder and say, no, 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 this was not what you promised, or this is not what you said the direction was, because it's going to change. Yeah, it's going to change so fast. and literally you're just investing in the founder and the team.
Yeah, and to trust them where they are going, right? Although there are changes, but you know where they are going also. They give you the confidence to really, okay, believe in them that although now we are changing from maybe plan A, now it's plan B or C
Mm,
or D, right? But you know that they are going the right route, and also making your investment more sound, more secure, and also more how should I put it, to really give you a peace of mind, right?
yes, right, yeah.
On that. And talking about that, about like the hustle, because now for you, you from the outside and from the inside, you understand this whole thing, right? What would you say will be the like the biggest challenge for startup, right? Although we know about angel investor, right? For you is your seeing from the outside. So what would you say is the biggest challenge for startup, especially in terms of getting angel investors in?
Mm, okay, I think the challenge for startup to getting angel investor in would be the actual conceptualization of their business itself. So if a startup has problem getting funding, they need to really look at their business concept, their numbers. Yeah, means that fundamentally there is some issue. It's either not attractive enough, because angel investors, they do come with certain background already. Most of them have certain background and certain knowledge in it, and they have seen a lot of companies. So why is your company not as attractive as others? It's an indication that you probably need to refine the company, or sometimes it's just the right team. Do you have the right team to support this idea? You don't necessarily need a superstar team, but you may need a team that has the right knowledge or expertise. Yeah, so some startups can also like dazzle investors with like very good profile, a good school, good background, etc. But it may not necessarily mean that they are a good team to have, because the good background in corporate doesn't translate to a good partner in business. Yeah, so
Hmm.
sometimes that can be the issue in itself. Mm. And partnership is always a tricky thing, right? So yeah, so as with any business and any startup, there's always going to be changes and errors, and as an investor, really, you have to be prepared for that lah. Yeah.
But why did I ask that question, right? Because I think in one of our first few conversation, we also come across like that there are articles talking about female founders, they are not getting funded
Mm,
from VC, from angel. There are not a lot of investment coming in, and I did ask you this question, because for you, although you are a female angel investor, right, it's not necessary that you will invest into a female founder
mm,
or the female startup, right? Female founder startup. Is all really depends on fundamentally the business model, the team, the entrepreneur, or even the business model, right? To
mm.
start off with. So when I ask you that question, it's also like how can they attract it? But the fundamental points has to be there that makes whether a startup is investable or not investable. Am I
Yes,
right to say that?
absolutely. I don't view it from a point of view, well, is this by a female founder or is this by a male founder? I don't think there should be any prejudice towards that. The fundamental question should be, is this company solving a problem that is really pressing, that is big enough? So if it's just a local company, I would also say the upside is not too much. It definitely needs to be either at least regional or if not global. And the issue, is it something that is easy to address? If it's easy to address, then there's low barrier entry, then it's probably not that attractive, right? If it's a really hard issue to address, then okay, you got something going here. Yeah. So yeah, fundamentally female or male doesn't really matter that much, because even female founders, with whatever commitments they have made this commitment to start a business. I believe they are also going to go all out as much as a male would. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And something to add on to it, right? This is also something I'm curious about, is that what are the what are the common things that you see that maybe female startup are not, that means the startup are not investable. What are the common things that you've seen, or is there a common thing that you see that maybe it could be not scalable enough, not international enough, or it's not solving a huge problem that it makes investors want to invest? Is there any reason, or is it common things that you see that's among female founders, startup and all that?
Not really a common problem among female startups, but for startups in general, and we're only interested in the ones that are technology enabled. So a lot of times the company or the problem or the product is not really technology enabled. It could be still more a traditional company, then we would say it will not attract as much investors as a tech company would. Yeah. Just because the upside is not that much and the growth is not as fast. And also, let's say if you're looking at, there has to be some numbers or projection involved as to how realistic is the scale of this business going to be, and that assessment also shapes the angel investors mindset of, whether or not this is something worth their investment. Yeah. So I think fundamentally, yes, it is an investment. So investors are looking for returns, and it's not going to deviate from that. If it's like a pure passion thing, then I mean, then you are lucky to get investment lah. But to be honest, it cannot be like just a passion project. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for answering that, because like from our conversation previously, right, you did address that it doesn't matter whether it's male or female. It's still going back to whether this company is does it has the element of whether is it investable in terms of like the projection, whether will it make the returns as what it say, or maybe the scalability using
Mm.
technology. Because I keep hearing that, you'll be investing in tech. Is there a particular reason, or is it because of that scalability and also the outreach of investing in the tech startup rather than investing in the non-tech
Mm.
startup?
Just because I believe the future is going to be really, really tech heavy. And everyone is using mobile now or computer, and the new generation coming up, like I'm looking at my kids now, what is their future going to be like? It's definitely going to be like technology. They're going to grow up with technology. Even my 1.5-year-old is swiping left and right. So that just gives me a glimpse, along with ChatGPT as well, what ChatGPT can do, right?
Yep.
So that gives a glimpse
Yeah.
already of what the future holds. And if right now I'm still looking at traditional businesses like food business, or like let's say hotels, not to say that they are not good, but definitely these are high investment kind of businesses that require a lot of capital, but the growth is still not as slow and very, very location based for a lot of these traditional businesses. So scalability is also unlike a tech business. So it's just the nature of tech, the speed that it can go at, the applications of it. You can apply to one solution. Let's say a chatbot can apply to so many different companies who probably need to connect with their customers in a certain way, right? So that solves fundamental issues in like online or technology businesses as well, and that's why my attraction towards it. Yeah.
So would you say that it's more of your own personal choice of in startup that you want to invest because of uh, of of the things that you want to meet as an
Mm.
investment, also as an investor? So the tech, is it for you as a individual, or is it most investors are looking into that
I
space?
believe that it's most investors are looking at that space. Yeah.
Because of they want to multiply the folds of that means the
And if you
ROI
just
or
look
even
at the funds that
maximize
people
the
are investing into, I think everybody will also go for tech fund lah. Although it didn't do so
mm,
well, but still, people will still go into it. Yeah.
which is a higher chance, right? Where there's a higher chance of success because of certain
Mm.
reason, because of the space itself, right? The I would say the opportunity and also the chances of this turning into something that is 100-fold, 1,000-fold is much higher than other business, right? So in that case, right, what would you say to other businesses who are looking in funding that is non-tech? What can they do if they really need funding or they need the funding to scale? What other means that they can go?
They are non-tech, or they have to innovate in a certain way.
Yeah, to include tech in certain
Include
ways,
tech in
right?
certain ways or innovate in certain ways, even though, let's say, if you're a product-based business that is non-tech, maybe like a I don't know, baby chair, then you can still grow your business, yes, but you have to be fundamentally different. Like, how are you innovating in
Mm,
this baby chair? Is it like foldable? Is it like, you can the child can use at, in more years of their life compared to just maybe the first
mm,
2 years of their life, something like that? Or maybe it's safe space, or it's really like portable. You can just bring it everywhere to outside restaurants as well.
mm.
So
Basically, in the product development part, whether can you invest or maybe attract investors to
mm,
invest in that, that your baby chair is like it can transform like a
yeah,
transformer, right?
so
It can
basically
transform to a
innovation.
maybe a
Yeah,
car. I get
innovation.
it. Yeah. So not necessarily that he has to embed with tech, but there must be
Mm,
innovation inside that that could extend the lifetime value of this product, right?
yes, yes, and make it attractive,
Mm.
such that it will attract all, like, a huge chunk of consumers to really buy and use it. Yeah. Mm,
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for sharing all that, and as also at the same time, I believe our listeners, our audience, have a lot to gain from just knowing about angel investor and what is going on in the angel investor mind. So coming back to because this podcast, right, is talking about mompreneur, right? So there's definitely a lot of mothers who want to start business because they want to provide a better life for their children. So what would you say that for most mothers, right, what is the biggest challenge for mothers? Because for you, you started before you're a mom, and definitely you have friends who are mothers who want to step into business. What would you say is the biggest challenge for them who want to be entrepreneur or even to start a business?
the biggest challenge is to manage time and to manage the people around you. Yeah. So if you really want to do this, first you need buy-in from the relationships around you. So whether or not you have a good support system, that which I do, so I'm very blessed to have a good support system. So when you get the people around you also bought in to your idea of really starting a business and going with it, then I think you would find it, you have an easier journey as well. Also, to be very clear of where you want your business journey to be headed, and therefore think about what kind of business opportunity that you really want to go into. Yeah, because having clarity of the end goal, like what you want to get out of it, will give you more insights, and not just like, oh, since I'm raising my kids now, let's just do a kids business or something like that. It has to be, looking at it, okay, what can have good margins, or what can have good growth? How's the competition in this area? Whether or not this is going to be a local or global thing. Do you have something that other people don't have? Is there a huge competitive advantage? Stuff like that. To really look at a business for business sake, before you decide whether or not to really plunge in. Otherwise, I would say, if it's a way of just making money, freelancing is also good enough. Yeah. To give that flexibility of time and freedom to really focus on, let's say, the mother's role.
Wow, thanks a lot for sharing and on that because like when you ask those questions, right, it comes so naturally to really consider, to really ask yourself what you want at the end of the game, right, or at the end of the road, what you really want, the clarity. I think that's also very important. Time really flies, and I really want to have more get you to share more and also dig in even deeper. So what would be your last advice for mothers who want to start a business or thinking of balancing motherhood and business? What would be your last advice for them?
But I would say also to look at the kids' stage, like what ages are they at. So to be honest, when they're at the toddler stage, I think it's worthwhile to just focus more on the kids. Yeah, because this 0 to 7, it will pass like really really quickly. But at the same time, this 0 to 7 is when you can also is I mean for myself, they're in school. So they're in school the whole day. So it's my only time to what we call chiong, really, really go for it at fast speed to grow a
Yeah.
business before the kids reach primary school, which primary school is only half day of school. So then you need a lot more free time to spend with them after school. Yeah, so it's a balance. How to make the best use of time before they reach 7, but yet still focus on them when you have the time with them.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And I can totally resonate with you when you say 0 to 7, because that was when my daughter, when I started my entrepreneurship journey like 8 years ago. Now my daughter is 14,
Mm,
14 years old. So I basically spend that time, like you mentioned, right? Like now in secondary school, she
yes.
don't need me. She don't need me to send her to school. She said, "Can you don't send me to the gate? Can you don't send me to school?" It's like embarrassing. But she don't say that, but I know that she's with her friends and all that. So the focus should be her building her social circles and all that. So for me, I have more time to spend in my business. That's why a lot of my friends was asking, Kenneth, why are you doing so many things? I say, because now I have more time, right? In the past, I'm spending more time with her, nurturing her. And now she's grown up. She has her own social circle. And that's where, even for you, by the time when they go to school, even although it's half day, right? Some of my friends send them for
Mm,
student care. So after that, they will be doing the
mm,
homework and all that. So for us, we can focus on the business, and at the end of the day, we can choose the time whenever we want to spend time with them. We can block out the time. So I think this is the flexibility that I see a lot of mompreneurs like you are able to share with their children, or even to balance. So thanks a lot for sharing your advice, and also how can the mothers get connected with you, or people who want to get connected with
okay.
you?
I'm on Instagram. I think they can get connected with me there. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those who want to get connected with Jacinta, you guys can go to her Instagram, which is instagram.com notes and notion. Okay, so you can get connected with her. You can see her lifestyle and what she does every day. Yeah. So it's also a way for you to understand what it takes to be an angel investor and what it takes to be a mompreneur at the same time. So once again, thanks Jacinta for
Thank you so
sharing
much, Kenneth.
all the advice, and also how to be an angel investor, because I believe you are the first angel investor that I invite on my podcast. After 100 over episode, are the first angel investor, and I believe that we have more things that we could do together to even help to support more women or even mothers stepping into entrepreneurship. So once again, thanks for those who are tuning in and watching the replay of Mompreneur Space live show podcast. I'm Kenneth here together with Jacinta, where we talk about how to be an angel investor. So if you have any question for Jacinta, reach out to her on Instagram. If not, I shall see you guys in the next episode. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you,
Bye.
Jacinta. Bye bye.